Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook.
Hello, you gorgeous person, you, and welcome back to the podcast. I am Zara King. If this is your first time listening in, I mean, where the hell have you been? But also, if this is your first time listening in, I am Zara King. I'm a business coach. I'm also an ex-corporate sales queen, and I am your biggest cheerleader in your beauty business when it comes to strategizing, when it comes to scaling, and when it comes to building a business that you absolutely love without sacrificing your life. I'm also a very busy mum of 3. I've got a little girl who is 9, I've got a little boy who's nearly 7, and another little boy who's nearly 3. So I'm super busy, and I'm actually slotting this recording in today whilst my youngest is at nursery, my other 2 are at school, and that is pretty much how I grew my beauty business to 4-figure weeks in part-time hours around the school bits and bobs. So I want you to know that before you dive in. If this is the first time you're listening into this podcast, at least you know a little bit about who I am and why I can sit here and tell you these things that I tell you. Today's episode is actually quite a juicy one. I've been asked quite specifically to pull back the curtain a little bit on the mistakes that I've made this year as a professional, or the lessons that I've learned. I've been asked to do that. So this episode is a little bit of the mistakes that I've made, what's been going on for the last year, because this is part 2 of the podcast. And obviously prior to part 2 beginning, we had a break from episodes for a whole year almost. So this is a good chance to talk about what's gone on in the last year for me, and sort of things that have kept me a little bit stuck, and things that I've had to learn from and move from. And I suppose, you know, things that I've maybe had to give up or delegate. And I'm really bad at delegating, actually, just to let you know. I'm good at boundaries. I'm very good at policies in business, by the way. So if you need some of those, I am your girl, and the 4-figure focus membership is where you need to be, because that is exactly where I teach everybody all about boundaries and policies in their business, and so much more. But yeah, this episode is all about that. So listen in if you want to know what I've been up to for the last year, and if you want to know what kind of lessons I've learned, I suppose. So a year ago now, I was pretty much about to ramp things up actually in my business. So if we go back to sort of June last year, 2024, I was getting ready, should we say. I was just working with a new coach. I just invested a couple of grand to work with another coach. And I was also I remember it quite clearly actually, I was at the Scratch Stars Awards party, and I was a judge for them for 2024. I am again this year, which I absolutely love. Thank you, Scratch. And I was talking to people about what was coming up, and I was really excited, and I was about to ramp things up with the membership that didn't exist back then, but it was about to. That is what I was working on with a coach back then, and I was really excited to start growing it, because actually for a really long time, I had been doing so much one-to-one coaching and getting the best results for my clients. And I wanted to help more people, because there is only one of me. And so that was what I was planning to do. I'm going to get back into that actually in a minute. I'm going to get more into that, should I say, because there's a bit of a mistake that was made with that. I'll let you know. Anyway, so what happened was I was super excited to gear things up again, and something happened in my personal life. I am absolutely fine, but it was a really sad event, if you like, and it completely knocked me. It really knocked me in ways that I didn't think it would. And so instead of ramping up at that point, I actually ended up taking the whole of August, September, October off work. And I thought I was going to have a complete break for maybe a year or two. I was thinking like, I just didn't want to do anything at this point. I really and truly wanted to just curl up in a ball and do absolutely nothing. Now, I wouldn't call that a mistake because I was going through something and I needed to just heal and I needed time to be with my family. But by November, in fact, probably by September, October, I was itching to get back to the beauty industry. I was itching to know what was going on. I was itching to speak to clients again. I just needed to get myself back out there or do some sort of social media and feel involved. I needed that. And that's just part of my personality. I am very go, go, go. And I'm also very much one of those people that needs community and recognition and to be told, like, you're doing amazing things. You know, I really love that. I thrive off of that kind of thing. So it came to November. I was like, right, you know what? I've had 3 months off now, a good solid 3 months and just over. And then I started to plan how I was going to come back with a bang. So what I did last year in November was it was Black Friday, and I tend to do offers around the Black Friday mark anyway, and I released a brand new VIP one-to-one coaching package, a couple of those, sold those, and then got stuck in again with clients straight away. Now, what I really should have done, and this I suppose is where the mistake comes in, is I should have probably decided to slowly come back in and finish off what I'd started with creating the membership, okay? However, I just needed something now. I'm very run before I can walk kind of girl, and I needed to speak to people again, and I just wanted work again. So I went straight back in with one-to-one, which is, I absolutely love it. It is where my heart is. I really, really love it. But my heart has grown now, and the membership has that too. But anyway, at this point, I'm thinking, I love one-to-one. I'm going to do that. Did that. Got back on track with loads of clients. And then I got work behind the scenes on the membership sorted. So there was a lot to do. And by January, I then released the membership. And then since then, of course, it's been go, 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 go. That was like 6 months ago now. And it's been, full on go, go, go. Now, there are a couple of mistakes within that, like I said, because you probably wouldn't know this by looking at things that people do on social media. But for me, for example, this membership has been in the pipeline for years. I originally started coaching people one-to-one back in 2021. I think in 2022 was when I released my first group coaching program. I then packaged that program up and put it online, which was one of the best decisions I'd made. And I knew with all my being that I really did want to create a membership at some point. I wanted to do it at some point, but I didn't know when. So I started to record the trainings for the membership and thinking about how to package up exactly the strategies and everything that I go through with my one-to-one clients, and thinking, how can I package this up so that more people can have access to it? And that is really what I wanted to do, to have a bigger impact on the world, on the beauty industry, on the wellness industry, on other industries too that wanted to come in and learn how to grow a business that they love. So I really should have finished mapping that out, because I was sitting on content in a folder for video trainings for this particular membership. I'm not going to lie to you, for over a year in total. I started mapping it out way before. So for a very long time, I sat on that. And when you just think, I can't call it a mistake, or I can call it a mistake, but I don't call it like a regret or anything. I don't regret a thing, because I believe that everybody is where they're supposed to be at every given point in their life. So I suppose you could say mistake number one was really and truly being a perfectionist, waiting for the right time. And it is hilarious, because you will know, if you've been in my world for any minute of time, that I will always tell you that I am a recovering perfectionist and that you shouldn't do that. And it just goes to show that it still gets to some of us, or the best of us. Most of the time, we have to work on these things constantly. It's not like, oh, I've given up that for now and it's never going to come back. These things always crop up and kick us, right? And that's one of the things I have to work on all the time, is action. Take the action, get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. So since January of 2025, I have been really busy. I've obviously launched the membership and I'm really busy in there. I've got one-to-one clients going on. I'm now a columnist for Scratch magazine as well this year. So every single month I write a column. I wanted to start the podcast again at some point, hence why we're here now. I'm back on the mic and I absolutely blooming love it. Then I have things that come up, like smaller collaborations that come up, and everything is just very go, go, go. So mistake number 2 that I want to talk about, or maybe like lesson number 2, is when I find myself sometimes being a little bit too available for everybody. You know, when I say to you, don't say yes to things you'd rather say no to. It's one of them things, right? We want to do more. We want to say yes. We want to get our names out there. So it does feel difficult at the time, and it does take a minute to realize when you've kind of maybe done that. When you realize you're like, oh, okay, I've made myself way too available here, and I've maybe overwhelmed myself a little bit. And for me personally, it's things like my clients, right? They will request things, and I'm like, they know there's a 24 to 48 hour turnaround of all messages, emails and things like that if we're a one-to-one client of mine. However, you know, I'm in that DM straight away most of the time because I can't help myself, and I'm like, the notification pings through and I'm just going to get back to you straight away. It might be 5 o'clock at night. I might be cooking dinner, right? In the moment, I love it because my clients are getting great results and I really love being there for them, and they're so appreciative. Okay, so appreciative. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, that's not serving anybody. It's not serving me. And 9 times out of 10, if a client has a question and if they can't wait a couple of days, they figure out the answer themselves, or they go through like the trainings and the documents that we've done together and they figure out the answer themselves before they even need me, if I give them that space. So that's just one example. The other example for me personally about being too available is things like being in DMs for too long, or going back and forth with somebody and helping them so much for free, which, to be fair, I love to do. However, I have done that for a very long time in the past. When I first started coaching people, my God, I worked for free. I worked for free for like a year before I was earning anything, let me tell you. And that's not a mistake, by the way. If you're thinking about helping people in this industry, or if you're one of the listeners that wants to go into education, or you want to go into coaching or anything, or mentoring, help people for free. Give stuff away for free. You will build a name for yourself. It just serves everybody. Okay, I highly recommend that you do things for free in the beginning, and I did do that. However, now obviously my DMs are always kind of lively with people asking me questions about, should I rebrand? Should I do this? What should I say to this client? This happened. And I encourage it on my stories and things. But you know, like sometimes when the conversation continues and continues and continues, and it's always a lot of the same things, I just think I need to pull away from that, but it's difficult. And it's just one of those things where I'm too available for everybody. So what I do now is I tend to have like it sounds really weird, but I tend to have like not a cut off, but like a message where I'm like, I close off that conversation for now. Does that make sense? And so it just helps to be able to be aware of it, that I know I've made that mistake in the past. I've been too available for people. I get random requests all the time, and sometimes I need to say no. I got a request this year to do something, a paid piece of work for somebody. I had to say no because I didn't have the capacity for it, and I just knew that I wouldn't be able to give it my 100%. And if you know that, or this is even personal as well, to be honest, it can happen in your personal life where you know you're up to capacity and you're like, I cannot commit to doing that thing with you that you want to do, friend. And it's, you know, saying no to people like that as well. But we care so much. We care so much about what we do, or our friends, family and colleagues and the people that we want to work with in different industries, that we do struggle to not be available, you know. But eventually, for me, it goes into everything. Like, I'm answering messages late at night. I'm saying yes to a Zoom call that I really didn't want to do. I'm over-delivering. It's not really sustainable, is it? So instead of acting like you're on 24/7, I have to take my own advice and what I teach my clients, right? And I have to set clear boundaries, and I have to make sure that my containers actually set that expectation up front. And I do all of that. I just overstep my own boundaries from time to time and I need to sort that out. But, you know, it's one of those things, and it comes and goes. Right now, I'm in a great place. I'm not, with business wise, I'm not kind of going over what I would say my boundaries are. I'm really not. But you know what the wildest part is? It is when you have the best boundaries and you hold them, your people around you respect you more. My clients, for example, will get better results. And it's just funny, isn't it? That it seems like you've got to do it, but actually you haven't. Okay? Instead of getting yourself into a state where you're overwhelmed, you're burnt out, if you actually peel back those things and think, no, I'm not doing that, you'll end up happier, for one, more relaxed, which makes you sharper, by the way. When I'm relaxed, I get ideas quicker, I can get my work done quicker, I can be more intentional with the action that I take, I can be more present, I can be more present for the kids as well when I'm not overwhelmed. So I think that is such a key thing to remember. If you take anything away from this podcast today, take that away. You guys will know as well that when you collaborate with people, you will do better. And for some reason, I struggle to let go of anything in my business. So I'm moving on to the next mistake at this point, okay? Doing everything myself is like a badge I wear, a badge of honor. I do everything myself. I'm a little bit of a martyr, okay? I will admit it. I'm the person that teaches you not to do everything yourself. I'm the person that will teach you to leverage people and money and systems. However, I stayed solo in my beauty business. I didn't want a team. If you've listened to the other episodes on this podcast, you will know I built my business. I earned what I wanted to earn around my kids' school hours on my own. The only type of collaboration that I did was when I introduced a commission basis for an aesthetics person to come in and do that. And that was fantastic, don't get me wrong. I also did collaborative events, which were amazing, by the way. And I also did collaborative offers with other businesses. So I did dip my toe in the water, but I'm a control freak and I'm not afraid to admit it. However, you guys want to know now, Coach Zara King, what does your business look like? I know you want to know. I know you asked me what mistakes I made, how I've done things, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm here to tell you, I do still do all of this myself, okay? I have had, and this is the part that you're probably going to want to know about, I have had virtual assistants. I have had so many coaches myself, because coaches need coaches. I have invested in myself ongoing all the time, probably every damn year. Every damn year I've invested loads. Okay, no one cares about the results of my clients as much as I do. Okay, I promise you that. In fact, everyone cares, but I mean, I really blooming care. Okay, I really freaking care. Now, that comes with the badge of honor, where I'm like, I love what I do. I want to help so many people, and I want to do it all by myself. Now, I really struggled to have VAs. Now, the first VA I ever had was, in fact, let's go way back. So when I first started coaching, I had somebody take over my social media for my beauty business because I just couldn't do it alongside all the coaching. Now, I had a coach on board who was helping me with the coaching business and got it off the ground, and it was amazing. And I needed a VA pretty quickly for the coaching business because I wanted to repurpose content and I wanted to do different marketing methods that this VA would help me with, okay? It wasn't necessarily a person on my team. It was more like, I would say, monthly contracting. So I used to pay a monthly amount to this person to do X, Y, and Z hours. I think she was on about 20, 25 hours. And everything else was literally me, my laptop, and then this other person doing my social media for the beauty business, and then this, the VA. The reason I did that was because I struggled to let go. But you see what I mean? Like I had to start somewhere. So that's where I started. And I'll tell you what held me back, actually, because, we're being raw and we're being real here. The things that held me back were A, no one will do it as good as me, and B, hiring is really expensive. Those were the things that held me back from doing anything, from always having to do everything myself for just forever. Okay. But the thing I want to tell you is this: every single time you outsource something, you are freeing yourself up to do the things that you do well, to do it properly and to do it better, right? You're freeing yourself up to do what you do well better. Okay, and to spend more time doing the things that you do well. So it makes sense. And every time you have that outlay in your business, you should be thinking about the return on investment all the time. I know that now, okay? I knew it then. It just takes some implementation. It takes some growth. And I'm going to be completely raw and real with you here. That's where I started, okay? Now, in the last year, I did go back to me doing everything myself. So when I got asked this question the other day to come on the pod and do this, I thought, you know what, I'm going to be completely honest. Over the last year where I had that break, I was working with that coach to get the membership off the ground, and then it stalled because of my break. So I had the 3 months off, I came back and I released my one-to-one slots, got back in the game with clients and everything. And then I did it all myself. And then I launched in January the membership. And since January, I've been doing it all myself again. However, I want you to know this. If you've listened to previous podcast episodes on this season, you'll have known that I have been wanting help again. I have been at that point where I'm like, I need help because my little boy starts nursery in September. I want to ramp things up a little bit more. We've got so much going on at home with the build. It is insane. My life is actually insane, and my head pounds every day with the amount of stuff that I think I have to do. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have a boss. I don't actually have to do anything, and I'm in that position, and I'm so lucky and privileged and grateful that I got myself to this position. However, I want some help, okay? So that's the position I was in not long ago. Now, all of a sudden, through the practice of gratitude and through the practice of visualization, that help came to me. I have had more than one outreach, like email notification or message saying, let's do this, I've had what I needed through the practice of gratitude, and that is what I'm now moving forward with now. However, the mistake that I wanted you to know about is the fact that I did go back to doing everything myself for too long. There are times when you can be doing everything for yourself. There are times when it makes sense to be doing things for yourself when you're a really small business. There are things like, little things that you could outsource. Like the other day I paid one of my she's a virtual assistant as well, but she does social media, paid one of my friends, to go and do one of my, what they called resources for me. So I, instead of doing it myself, because I was procrastinating about it for ages, I was like, right, you finish that for me, I'll pay you to do it. There are those little ways that you can outsource, okay? Admin or basic designs, or even if you just needed somebody, I don't know what your business looks like, but even if you just needed somebody to sort out your, email marketing and your inbox and things like that, maybe you do that and it's something alongside. Because I remember when I started my beauty business, I know that we've gone off on tangent here, or I have, should I say, one of the things that made me look so professional from going home based was that I did email marketing. Now, I can tell you that is a job in itself. So maybe it's that you outsource first, or maybe it's that you get a cleaner in the house because you can't do all of that yourself. Okay, whatever it is, I tell you now, as soon as you do outsource something, your headspace will come back and you will be able to sharpen up different little strategies, and you will be able to get more aligned, inspired action and more energy to do the things that you want to do well. Okay, you will. Because me doing everything has been, at times, the most expensive decision that I've ever made. Okay, it's cost me loads of money. Why was I sitting on all of that content for the membership for so long? You tell me. I don't know. But yeah, and I do have a little stat for you. I want you to know that there's a recent survey that found that 61% of small business owners experience burnout. And I know you know this. And I know that some of you have probably experienced burnout. But do you know what? 70% of those people link it directly to their poor work-life boundaries. Okay, so that is what we're talking about here. Creating some sort of boundary and making sure that you do it properly. Okay, now I want you to know it's not going to be easy, and I struggle too. This is the realness of it, but it's being aware and it's being able to, at times when it matters most, peel it back and decide what you want to do. That is what I will say to you for that one. Now, I know we have been on here for about 23 minutes already. However, I've got two more things that I think we should talk about. And the first one is overcomplicating things and overthinking everything. Okay, you might not know this about me, but I'm an overthinker. I'm an oversharer and an overthinker. But with the business and being a professional in this space, I get so into it, and I love building out systems or funnels or, my offers. And I love the content at times. Even that's something I haven't mentioned. In January, I set myself a challenge, if you like, to post 4 times a day to do some market research and everything. And I smashed that out. And I don't know why I'm telling you this right now, but I did that because guess what? I love it. I love looking at things like that and tweaking and launching and doing new things. But sometimes it turns into constant overthinking and constant overcomplicating things. Now, I'm very good at, when somebody else presents me with an issue in their business, I'm very good at unpicking and saying, this is what you need to focus on. I can see now, because that is what your end goal is. But when you're caught up in the emotion of it, and this is why I need a coach as well, is I'm caught up in the emotion of it, and I'm caught up in my life as well. So I'm not just as tunnel visioned as I am when I am with clients. So you get a little bit, overthinking and confused about things. But you have to stop that. One time I had, I think it was like 4 different one-to-one packages, different things, different offers going on all the time, sales pages coming out of my ears. And it doesn't really, it wasn't meeting my end goal. It wasn't giving me the clarity that I needed. I much prefer now to have one clear one-to-one offer. Okay, it might have 2 options, but it's still the same damn thing. And then I have the membership and one online course. That is it. There is a customer journey, and it allows me to look at my funnel and analyze it better. Okay, I can spend less time in there, less stress, make more money in less time and have less stress. That is my motto. You know me. So that is one thing that I would say that over the last year, back to the topic of the conversation, which is, my mistakes and lessons in the last year, it reminds me again that when I get into the thick of it, I have to peel it back again, and I have to stop overcomplicating things. I have to stop overthinking and practice what I preach. Remember, simplicity is what will scale, and you have to be on sort of that tunnel vision. Stop listening to the noise. There is so much noise out there, and that's another thing. It kind of ties into this, but what I find it contributes to this overcomplicating and overthinking is listening to too many opinions, seeing too much online. Stop consuming the content, start creating what you've got to create. That is what I would say on this. And that really is the last kind of mistake I would say that I have made in the last year or so, is even though I have my business established, when I invest with a coach or with something new, I am easily influenced into thinking the way that coach thinks. And that's a given. Don't get me wrong. You sign up with these people for a reason. You want to get into their world. You want to see what they're doing because they're making multiple 7 figures or more or whatever they're doing. And the thing is, you need to still stay tunnel vision. I think this year, where I invested last year with somebody and started going full throttle with their way and kind of like launching the membership and all of these things, now this year where I've invested with somebody different, I have seen a completely new perspective. And what I think you have to do, I wouldn't call it necessarily like a mistake to invest with different people, because you need to find what you really like and what works. But for me as a business owner, I know that there are some things that fit well with me and some things that just don't. So I know that if I'd have gone with my gut in the beginning, I probably wouldn't have invested in the first one, and I should have maybe just bitten the bullet and gone with this one. And so I suppose you could call it a mistake. I don't think it is. I learned a lot. But my point is, really try to be crystal clear on what you enjoy, what you want, and what your vision is, and try to cancel out anyone that steers you off if it doesn't feel good. If it's coming from a place of lack, or like, I should have had that by now. If it's like that envy or lack, then get rid of that maybe. And I've had to unfollow. There have been so many things where I'm like, that is not good energy for me. And it's not that people are putting out bad things, bad vibes. No. But it's not the energy that I need. I'm really focused on my energy. So if something is pulling me away and giving me that, I really want that, but I know it's marketing that I don't actually vibe with. I know it's actually something that I'd rather not right now in my world, I'll mute it or I'll stop following, or you know what I mean. I hope this is making sense to you. What I'm trying to say is the last mistake I think I've made is just being pulled by somebody else's direction maybe, and not trusting my own gut as much. That is the only thing. Now, that's not to say that it's like a massive deal, because I don't think it is. I learn from everybody that I work with. I have learned so much, and I think investing in yourself is the best thing that you can ever do. However, I just think stay true to you. And that is what I would say. I think I'll end it there. But yeah, that is pretty much the breakdown, I think, of the last year or so. And right now, I am still really full throttle with the membership, and I have something super exciting in works. But I'm going to take my time, and I've also got the help. I'm going to make sure my boundaries are really solid. Okay, we will have real boundaries. We will not be overcomplicating everything, and I will be staying true to myself, even though I have people on board that are really helping me and they have their own opinions. That's fine, but I will not be sort of swayed. And I've learned from those things that I've spoken to you about today. Hopefully you can too. Let me know. Please reach out to me on social media. I'm at Zara King on Instagram and Facebook. You can find me, you can message me, tell me if this is valuable information for you. It was requested, so hopefully this is valuable for more than just the person that's requested it. But yeah, at least you know I'm not perfect. I'm trying to build my business smarter. I'm trying to not work harder, just exactly as I preach and as exactly what I teach my one-to-one and what I teach my members. So yeah, if this hits home for you, please take a screenshot of this episode, pop it on your stories and tag me at Zara King on Instagram. I reshare every single one. So make sure you do tag me so that I can see it. I appreciate you so much. If you want more from me, if you want my help in your business, then you need to be inside the 4-Figure Focus. The description has all the links that you need, and I would be more than happy to have you in there. I would be super excited to get involved in your business and to help you grow. But for now, please, if you want to do anything for me, please just leave a review and press follow, or I think it's follow on Spotify and Apple. Just follow the poddy, leave a review. It helps more than you know for me to get this in front of more people. But yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.